Hey, how's it going? Chandler here, and welcome to my channel. So this video is going to be really quick today. I'm just going to talk about a book that I'm actually about to return to the library where I got it from. It's called You Are a Badass at Making Money, Master the Mindset of Wealth by Jen Sincero, New York Times bestseller. So this video, I'm not going to necessarily touch on the details of the book and, you know, I'm not trying to ruin it for you. So I definitely highly recommend, first and foremost, picking up a copy for yourself and diving into it yourself. Never judge a book by its cover. I'm a big believer in that. Pick it up for yourself and see if it's something you like, if you enjoy. I've read a lot of books in personal development and wealth mindset, you know, by Tony Robbins, all the different kinds of personal help, self-improvement gurus out there. And I will say this is a very unique book in itself because of the voice that Jen Sincero brings to this book. It's not your typical self-help or law of attraction type of book. She adds a little bit of her own unique personality, which is refreshing and it's super insightful. She adds a lot of stories and really, really great exercises, which is my favorite part of this book, at the end of each chapter that you can journal and write out yourself to really increase your wealth consciousness. And that's really what this book is about in itself. And not to get into too much detail on it, but I really believe that we all come into this world with, parents who, in a lot of ways, do the best that they can, but sometimes might inflict their mindsets or their beliefs on us, and also our environment where we go to school, where we grow up, depending on where that is. A lot of people can project their ideas onto us about money, about, the crazy thing about money is the topic of it is such a polarizing topic, right? We hear all sorts of things like money is the root of all evil, and things like that in the more polarizing negative nature of it. And we can really take that on and think to ourselves like, oh, money is bad. But as Jen kind of discusses in this book, money is actually neutral. It's not positive or negative. Money doesn't have any emotions. It's the emotions that we give to it, and ultimately the energy that we give money. So if we think that it's bad, it's bad. If we think that it's good, it's good. And what would you rather choose? Would you rather choose to see money as a bad thing or a good thing? Obviously, in my case, I want to see money as a good thing. I think money can help a lot of people. I think money can create organizations that do a lot of good. And on the flip side, yes, of course, there is a lot of truth in the fact that money can do a lot of harm as well, but when it's in the wrong hands with the wrong intentions. So I think if you're looking to expand your consciousness on money and also work on some of the exercises in this book, which I highly recommend doing, I would recommend getting your journal and writing them out word for word, because there's some great affirmations in here and exercises to, if you're struggling with making money or coming up with ideas, or you're just, you're in debt, you're in these situations that you want to get out of, what Jen really helps us understand is that money is energy at the end of the day, and it's not necessarily about the external things that you might be perceiving with your senses that are really the problems that are basically the root of your problem. The root is the internal side of us. And that's where it's tied into the law of attraction, the law of assumption, really changing ourself from the inside out first and foremost, so that then our external reality around us matches that, right? Because we're like a mirror. So if I see the world in a negative light, and I see the things around me like, oh, I can't make money, there's no opportunities around me, who's going to hire me? And if I have that mindset and that belief system at the root, I'm going to only get more of those negative things in my life, those negative opportunities, those, jobs that I ultimately hate. And so if I can begin to shift that subconscious program in my mind, right? Because we have this software running from 0 to 7. We're like sponges and we just absorb information that we're basically given. Then we ultimately are going to end up with a certain outcome. So the only way that we can change that is if we get into the subconscious program and rewire that and start making a shift. Now, she does mention affirmations a lot, which is like a common thing in spirituality and all this self-help personal development work. And I think affirmations with repetition are going to only benefit you, because what you repeat and what you focus on, what you bring attention to, appreciates, right? What we appreciate appreciates. So if we appreciate the money and we are grateful for what we have in this moment, even if we don't necessarily have it, we're going to appreciate more gratitude, more wealth, more abundance by believing it in this moment. And then when we go about our day-to-day life, it will change. And it might be a gradual process, but it's important to be patient. Now, I know this to be true for myself. It's like I only attract more good things into my life the more I'm grateful and the more I appreciate them. So really it's about checking in with yourself and seeing what beliefs, what thoughts are running through my head throughout the day. Are they negative or are they positive? Is it the lack mindset of, oh, I can't afford this? And maybe how can we reword and rephrase, because words are like spells, they cast spells, right? It's like if we can change the words that we're using, we can change our reality just based on the words and the choice of words that we're using. So instead of I can't afford this, I'm choosing not to buy this right now, and I'm choosing to focus my energy here. Or, instead of saying I wish, I want, I hope, you can affirm it in the present moment. I know that I'm going to have this money. I know it's coming soon. I know that that next job opportunity, I know that that next idea, or I know my next video that I'm going to post is going to really take off, whatever it is for you. So, yeah, I don't want to go super in depth on this video because it's not really like that. It's not rocket science at the end of the day, this stuff. It's very simple stuff that you can work out for yourself and dive as deep as you want. And I think just being honest with yourself during these exercises, where you write down things like reframing what money means to you, like write 5 positive words about money, practicing saying thank you for when you receive money and being grateful for having it in this moment, whether it's a little bit or a lot, and just doing things like that. What else is here? Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, though, that we get caught up in the law of attraction, this world of spirituality, is that we think that we can think using our brains, think our way through these problems that are tied to the root, which is our belief systems. Now, this is where the law of attraction people can get it wrong, is it's like, yes, you can repeat, I am wealthy, I am successful, I am X, Y, and Z all day long, which you desire. But if your program, your subconscious program, is running in the background telling you that that is BS, right, and that it knows that you're lying, then you're not bypassing that subconscious program. So you might consciously be creating repetition, which helps your reticular activating system create, basically, like if you're thinking about white cars and you keep seeing white cars everywhere, that's going to, obviously that helps. But when it comes to really hardwiring that subconscious mind and reprogramming those belief systems, we have to get into the emotions of it, because emotions are what are going to change and shift us. It's going to bypass that subconscious mind. So emotions are energy in motion. So we can start to feel into these emotions of, like, ask yourself, like, if it's $1 million that you want, what would it feel like to have $1 million in this moment? Like, if I had $1 million right now in this moment, what would it feel like? For me, it's like, man, I'm so powerful. I'm so, like, I'm just in a state of bliss. Like, money's not an issue. I can just relax in this moment, and I can think about what I want to do in terms of impacting people. I can think about bigger picture things because all my needs are met. What does that feel like for me? That feels like so liberating, and it brings a sense of peace because I don't have to worry about the day-to-day things. And then when I feel into that and I keep imagining myself in that moment, right? This gets into the quantum physics of parallel realities where ultimately this moment is all that exists, and within the parallel realities there are infinite possibilities. So if they're on different timelines, there are possibilities where you are a millionaire. You might not be it in this moment, but if you can feel into that, you basically bridge this gap where you might be at point A trying to get to point B, but where point B is you're a millionaire. But if you can believe at point A that you are a millionaire, you merge. And so you might not have it in this moment, but that the next steps it'll just basically accelerate that process because you already believe it in this moment, and you'll be surprised what shows up in your life. Now, it's important to be patient with this process because you really don't know how this works, and it's not really up to us to figure out how that works and how that process unfolds. We can get caught up in the how and what we're supposed to be doing, but ultimately just trust and have faith and also feel into those emotions. And the best way we can do this is through things like meditation, hypnosis. Affirmations are great when they're tied to emotions, and just doing it through a practice. And obviously when you wake up in the morning and you do this practice right when you wake up, when you're in that theta light sleep state, or right before you go to bed, if you can continue to work on this practice, and you might already be there, right? Some people, depending on where you're at, you already are positive, you're already thinking all those things, and you're doing, basically, you have the mindset, you have the belief system, and now it's just about implementing through actionable steps, and start taking those actionable steps instead of doing all this internal work. The internal work is great, but like the law of attraction has the word action in it. Attraction, action. So we have to take action in what we're doing. We can't just meditate and pray and think that $1 million is going to come to us when we wake up. And that's what we can get caught up into, that, and it is possible for, it's not to say that it's impossible, right? It is possible for those very, very few of us who really work hard and get to these high levels of consciousness. But it's important to still take action in this 3D reality. So definitely take action towards what it is that you're doing. But sometimes if you're not ready to take action, it's helpful to drop into the inner. And I've also created a guided hypnosis meditational tape that you can get in the description below that dives into connecting with your heart, which is, why the heart? Why are we connecting to the heart? Because the heart has an electromagnetic field that is 5,000 times greater than that of the mind. And when we drop into the heart and we align with the heart and we connect our heart and mind, that allows things to intuitively come through us. We become a channel. We don't have to work so hard. We're in that state when we bypass the thinking brain into the emotions so that we can ultimately achieve what it is that we want to achieve, right? I'm doing it right here, right now. I love making videos here on YouTube. I love to create content. It's just a fun thing for me. Whether or not I achieve money with YouTube, it doesn't matter to me. What I love doing is creating content that brings value to you. So by figuring out and finding those flow states of what it is that you ultimately love to do, that will provide more ease, provide more of that good feelings, those good emotions that bring you into a state of abundance. So ask yourself, what do you like to do regardless of money? Imagine money's not an issue. What would you be doing? Writing, reading, what are some things? And chances are you can make money at those things, but it's not about the outcome when you're in that flow state, doing it because you love it. And then the how and the money and the things will all figure itself out over time. And it's just about trusting and having faith in the process. So I hope this video helped, and I'll see you in the next one.